Hi collective, welcome back to my channel, Celestial Clarity Tarot. I'm so excited to have you here today. As you can tell by the title, what we're here for, and we have 3 groups here to choose from. So let me introduce our groups. This is group 1. I really like the underside of this piece. I actually found all these in the yard earlier while I was like preparing to channel to do this reading. This is group 2, and I was like, I just stumbled upon them and I was like, what the heck, this is so interesting. So I just had to use them for the video. I don't know, I just found them. Group 2 is actually low-key kind of phallic now that I'm looking at it, but whatever. And this is group 3. I think this one is my personal favorite, the underside of it. It kind of looks like a bone, like a finger bone. Like if this piece wasn't here, like that could totally be like a bone or something. But yeah, there's all of our groups. The timestamps to make your selection will be below, and I'll also put like a still image of them all if you need a little bit more time to kind of attune to which group you're kind of aligning with. And the breakdown of the reading. So what are your hidden strengths? That's the main question. But first we're going to have a current energy check-in just to see kind of where you're at, so you'll know if you're at the right pile, if that resonates with you, what I get from the energy check-in. And then the main question, which will just be all about what your hidden strengths actually are. And then the third thing will be advice and guidance on how to harness these strengths. So that's what I have here for you. Next is going to be the still image of all of our groups so you can make your selection, and then you can go to the timestamps and pick your group. So I'll see you there. Hi group 1, welcome to your reading. If you chose this little piece of wood right here, then you are in the right place. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, so we're going to start with your energy check-in. When I was attuning to your energy, it felt very, I don't know, what's the word, like spicy. I don't know, I felt this warmth coming up throughout my body. Some of you might be experiencing some type of kundalini rising or something like that. Or just feeling very passionate. But let's see what comes out. Spirit, can you give me the current energy of my group 1 collective, please? So they can know that they are at the right place. One more card, please, Spirit. Oh. Okay. Wait, are these in the camera? I'll bring them a little bit closer since it's a small spread. We have the Ace of Cups in this deck. Love begins. Patience and planning, which is like the 7 of Pentacles. And the Ace of Swords in reverse. With this Ace of Swords triumphant success card in reverse like this, I'm getting that there's some type of blockage, some type of problem when it comes to speaking something. Maybe there's something yeah. I'm feeling it in my throat too. I felt like I needed to clear my throat really bad. But it has something to do with like maybe you're keeping something, some sort of plan or something that you've envisioned that you are making actions towards, but you're kind of keeping it on the down low a little bit. But this might actually be like something that it might be time for you to start to say something about this to someone, whatever it may be. With the Ace of Cups, though, yeah, and I'm drawn to these two people here pouring this together. It's like you're working towards something and planning something in your material reality with this card, right? But because you haven't kind of made that known necessarily, you're at a point where it's like, well, you can't really make much more progress until you sort of say something about this and kind of bring it out from the darkness. Not that you're really, well, I don't know, some of you might be kind of, there could be varying degrees of secrecy around whatever this is, but there is like this urging, you're being urged to bring someone else in on what's going on, I guess you could say. To see how you can work with others towards this. But with patience and planning, especially being in the middle, that is definitely your main focus. Like you have something that you are kind of locked in towards. Not necessarily tunnel vision. Some of you might be on that more extreme side of it, I guess you could say, but you don't have to be. But there's a vision that you're holding. And there is a certain defensiveness to it, which explains the, not wanting to tell everyone your whole business of what you have going on, what you have in the works, because you want to protect it, because it is something that is true to your heart's desires, I guess you could say, like an aligned desire. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person or a relationship with this Ace of Cups, but it means a lot to you emotionally, and it's fulfilling on an emotional level. So yeah, that's what I have for your current energy check-in. I don't need to shuffle these cards again, but I'll shuffle my cards so much. Just bear with me. Okay, now for the main event. Oh, I forgot my little disclaimer. Keep in mind that this is a general collective reading, so only take what resonates. Use your intuition and your discernment for something that truly fits for you. Don't force anything to fit. You'll know if it resonates. You won't have to question if something resonates, right? But yeah, keep that in mind. If the energy check-in kind of wasn't all there, you can pick another pile and try another pile, or maybe you were just drawn to my energy and my channel in general, and you can consider subscribing and staying tuned for future readings that might resonate for you. Okay. Spirit, please tell me about my my group one's hidden strengths. What are their hidden strengths? Oh. Do both of those want to come out? For real? Okay. That's a lot of archetype cards, but they wanted to come out, so who am I to deny them their time? We have another sword in this. Okay. I don't know if I want to get... Yeah, I'm going to get a couple tarot. Spirit, can you clarify this energy for me? Give me some additional information about this. That card doesn't necessarily want to be reversed or upright. I'm just going to keep that in mind and just put it upright. This is very interesting how I'm structuring this spread. I have never done anything like this. Very interesting. Well, can I have one more card, please? Ooh. She flew. Actually, it was 2 cards. Let's see. Where does 6 of Cups want to go? With the Fool? Of course, it wants to go off camera where we can't see it. We'll do it. Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll just adjust the camera. Yeah. Okay, lovely, lovely. Just give me a second while I kind of sink into everything that we have going on here. Okay, I'm going to start up here with our archetypal energy that we have up here. So, with the comic, well, I don't know which one I want to start with. The comic and the kiss. I feel like, well, especially with 6 of Cups down here too. Someone tries to, what is the word? I had the word and then it left me. Not deflect. Well, I guess it is to deflect in a way. Yeah, that is the right word, to deflect. Someone deflects from their more genuine, deeper emotions a lot as a means of protection. So this could be with really anyone in your life, like friends, family, just like acquaintances, in romantic partnerships, really anything. Well, actually there's something a little bit different about how it shows up in romantic partnerships, but the strength part of it is this archetypal energy, this card of the kiss. So there's a lot about strength in your hidden strength is in this place that it is a bit uncomfortable for you to go. I feel like you have trouble to show your softer side and your warmth and your affection. It's something that you kind of, with this sword archetype, that you kind of guard it, but you do it in a way that's not that it's cold or callous, or you deflect it with humor, basically. And it's odd because part of you at times wants to disregard that defense and kind of leap into a more deeper expression that sometimes when it feels natural, you'll want to kind of accept it and like fall into it. But that defense is like a learned, it's just how you have learned how to operate, and is on some level maybe a like rooted in the nervous system. Like you want to embody more of this archetypal energy of the kiss. That's your warm, affectionate lover kind of side, even if it's not a romantic partner, just that nurturing side of you. Even if you want to express it, sometimes it kind of, there's this with the Five of Wands, I'm getting that there's this feeling of like inner chaos, and like you just don't know how to be in that energy, I suppose. So sometimes it's just kind of easier to go with the programmed, I guess you could say, programmed reaction of the comic to kind of keep these layers of separation with humor, with lightheartedness, and not go into this energy. But when we get down here with the Fool and the Six of Cups and the Death card, I feel like recently there's an awareness of this defense, and maybe certain circumstances that are putting you in a position where you would want to get rid of that. Like you can tell that it's not serving your best interest, and there's this yearning, or this sort of, this yearning to let go of this defense, you know, put the sword down, so to speak. A need for transformation, to turn this defense into something else. So this hidden strength of yours, it's hidden because it probably touches on something that's painful, like a wounding or a sort of shadow. Is that really a bug in here right now? Y'all see that? What the fucky? Oh my gosh. Anyway, we're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. I'm not editing it out because I don't have time to edit all day. What was I saying? What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so the strength of your, well, I feel like there's something in the guidebook that wants to be said about this kiss archetype. Kim Kranz is a great writer and illustrator. Like, I love her work. What number is that? So I do reference her guidebook a lot just because what she writes in it is so like timeless, and just I don't know how to describe it. She just, like, all of her decks, I'm just so stuck on them because there's so much there. Like, you can just, especially with this archetypes deck, I've wanted this deck for so long and I finally got it, and there's just so much to continue to study with this deck, and it's so interesting. I don't know why I'm saying all that. Oh shit, I bumped the camera. But anyways, if you want to skip through me reading this, you can, I guess, but I'm gonna read it. So the kiss, the touch, the chemistry, and the sex. Before a first kiss, the air is electrified. Each breath is alive with possibility and magic. What will their lips be like? Their tongue? Do they want me in return? The archetypal energy of the kiss is a heightened sensation of merging with other, of letting in what was moments ago separate, to become one. It is risky but beautiful business. These moments forever change us as we move past the solitary self toward union and acceptance. This card suggests true intimacy is around the corner, which requires bravery and surrender. When the kiss takes a non-human form, it may be experienced as touching the sacred, hearing a whisper, or being graced by a divine being. You will recognize the presence of the kiss by cold chills and an awakening of the heart. So when light, it can talk about sensual expressiveness, merging, and inviting. When it's dark, it can be about neediness, pressure, dominance, and disrespect. And these things, write down the story of your first kiss, what was changed in that moment. And intimacy is multi-layered and requires our reflection. Revisit what you consider to be sensual, taboo, acceptable, and shameful. Yeah, that one's gonna hit for you. That right there, yeah, that's gonna hit for you. So, I am glad that I read that, because that sense of union, of merging, is something that is like, there's, with this card, especially with the sword card, see all this like specific like separation of the colors. So your hidden strength kind of lies in being able to connect with energies outside of yourself. It doesn't even have to be an actual person. Like, you don't have to have a romantic person in mind or anything, or be in a relationship, but it is about, you have a strength in being able to experience how do I describe it? Like, that it's this inviting energy from the kiss, being able to let in something else and truly experience it on a deeper level, like that sense of merging. And it can be really with a lot of things. It doesn't have to be a person, like I said. But for some reason, there is this, whatever it stems from, whatever part of your shadow that it may be, or maybe just fears and a certain sense of like the ego being uncomfortable, like the way that you conceptualize yourself. Like, you feel like you have a strong sense of self and you need to keep other outside influences like out, and keep these very specific, defined, easy to understand layers of separation between that. I lost my train of thought. Basically, you are scared of that energy, but if you do give into it, if you do surrender to moments like that, merging with this sort of, whether it's a person, whether it is a creative project, or just being able to feel into your environment in that way. Maybe out in nature, like physical environment, but it also could be just an environment around other people. You have this way of being able to read, well, not even just read it, but to see into fully and wholly experience things like that. And it's a strength of yours because, well, why? There's some higher reasoning to it, but it is a strength. So, do I want to move on to the next question yet or not? I hope that is making sense. I'm really not sure. I'm kind of deep in the channeling sauce, and I don't really have my rational mind very much available to me, so sometimes speaking starts to feel really weird. Yeah, I think we're going to move on to advice and guidance on how to harness this strength. Oh. I just burped. I hope you didn't hear it. We're going to get some more tarot and some oracle cards for next little bit. Yeah, there's the Fool again. She keeps coming up. She keeps... Well, it's reminding me of... Where is that card? When I was shuffling these before I started the reading, this card fell out onto the floor. And I really don't understand how it happened. Like, it literally, like, flew, like, over the desk, like, real dramatically. So, that definitely happened for a reason. But with this card, Forge, Don't Follow. Pave a new path, be the leader you wish you had. Why is that significant? I don't know, but that card wants to come out. Okay, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting too excited. Oh. Please come here. Okay. Or don't. Or don't. I can't shuffle today. Okay. So we have that first card out because it popped into my mind again. So it definitely wants to be out here. Spirit, can I get some advice and guidance for my group 1 on how they can harness the strength of theirs? There's so much about surrender. I always want to put the cards too far over to the left. Let me get one more card, please. Oh, beautiful. We have the Empress here. Can I have another oracle card, please, Spirit? Well, that's 2. I'm not taking 2. There we go. How does that look? Our bottom of the deck energy, I really like this card. The Seas of Mintaka, perhaps? Seeing potential, bringing unconsciousness to light. But this bringing unconsciousness to light part of this card, and all the water too, like, you have this ability to connect with things so deeply that it is like there's a certain level of sacredness to it. Like, you can have a lot of appreciation for the things and the people around you. And I think that this sort of depth can be a bit alarming or scary for you, maybe. Like, you feel like you might lose your sense of self or your identity in doing that. Well, I'm actually gonna leave that right there. Okay. So, how you can harness this strength. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Hangman, the Four of Swords, and the Empress. On our other oracle card that I haven't shown us is this Inner Earth card, which I really love. And it says, you'll survive this, new solutions and beginnings. Okay, so there's a good bit about reflection, rest, and also surrender, and surrender as in this way of being like, well, I don't really know what's about to happen, but that's probably okay. With that being at the center, I feel like that might be something that, I feel like it's something that you're struggling with presently. And I feel like maybe this strength of yours is coming to your, yeah, my eyes were drawn to this card. It's something that has been coming to your conscious awareness recently through certain things happening in your life or whatever. But there is a need to surrender to that part of you. That part of you that, I don't know what to call it. I guess that ethereal kind of lover type of side. Because that archetype card, the Kiss, reminds me of like the lover archetype, which is kind of easier to call something that, but when it does feel right, like, you do have the discernment. Maybe in the past you didn't have the discernment and you sort of open yourself up to people or situations or things and kind of merged yourself with them, but it wasn't aligned and something bad came of it, or it was harmful to you in some way, and that's probably where the fear stems from. But I feel like you do have that discernment now with the Four of Swords, with the Hangman. Like, that knowing, that inner knowing is in there, but perhaps you don't fully trust yourself, and maybe you don't know that, so then you're confusing you not trusting yourself for, like, your discernment being like, nah, this is not safe for me. It can be easy to get the two confused, but the discernment is there, underneath the fear, and that's why the Hangman is here. That's like the most important card in the spread, I feel like. But what are the other messages? With this card, the Forge don't follow. And with the Ace of Pentacles, maybe the way that you operate, or the way that you move through your life, is seen as unorthodox, or perhaps even, I just heard the word unhinged, to other people. Maybe someone said that to you. That's kind of crazy if they said that to you, but I lost my train of thought again. Oh, don't be afraid of having to be sort of unconventional in the way that you move through the world and lead your life, because the more that you do, you're connecting with your more authentic essence and self, like your North Node path. If you know what that means, it's like your destined path, like your higher soul aligned calling / path. But don't be afraid of it being a bit unconventional and not looking like, I guess, everybody else, the way their life is panning out and the way that they do things. Because you're learning a lot. That's how you learn to trust yourself too, when you take maybe smaller leaps or go off little nudges from your intuition, and something good does come of it, and you see those physical results, you'll be able to trust yourself more. And also how to harness this softer, intuitive side of you is, well, I'm getting another message of discernment with the Four of Swords, but when you do discern that you are in alignment with whatever the thing that you are very deeply connecting to is, like, oh my gosh, can I speak literally? When you do discern that everything's aligned and that you're safe, to own that part of you with the Empress. Like, with the Empress energy too, I'm getting major energy of someone that is a great manifester, especially with the Ace of Pentacles too. Like, someone that's a fucking master manifester. And there could be certain blocks within that, or maybe your timing is not, it takes longer than you would like. Sometimes manifestation stuff does take longer because you have to, the work you have to do to align and attune to being able to hold the manifestation. Whatever, that's unrelated. I don't know why I was talking about that. But guys, I'm gonna get it together. I'm just a little bit lost in this energy, and it's kind of hard for me to speak, and I feel like that's me picking up on your energy too a little bit, because there is something going on in your throat chakra, or some type of like truth that you're kind of keeping close to your chest, and I think I'm kind of picking up on that, and it's a little bit difficult for me, but I'm gonna get it together. Yes, the Empress, the Empress. Yeah, part of harnessing this side of you is to stop disowning it, stop downplaying it, stop trying to shove it in a closet, and to interact with it more. You don't have to totally shock your nervous system and just really go like super deep into it to where you feel like you could like lose yourself, because that is a fear for you. Instead of doing that, try to do it in doses. With Inner Earth coming up too, I feel like you can sort of practice this by going maybe for a hike or outside somewhere out in the elements where there's a lot of trees, or there's water, or the beach, or something of that nature, and feeling into that around you. And you can strengthen that ability for you to feel into and kind of practice merging with it. Like, it's a sort of energetic intimacy that I'm trying to describe. I feel like if this is you, then you probably know what I'm talking about, although I'm not describing it the best. But yeah. Trying to see if I see anything else. Oh yeah, with this bottom of the deck energy we have right here too, I'm getting something else of, it's through this ability that you can, yeah, that ties into the manifestation thing too. It's like these deeper psychic gifts that you have of, through, how do I describe this? It's just really complex too. Like, there's a lot of, you're a very complex type of person, I feel like. But with this card, with the seeing potential, that speaks to when you can embrace that energy of the Kiss archetype, that is your hidden strength. When you can embrace it, you can see into the quantum, you can see all types of, you can see to your highest timeline and all that type of stuff, which helps you a lot in being able to manifest. So how you harness that strength, you can use it a lot for manifesting and stuff too. And if you feel like you need to know more about manifesting, then perhaps it's time to do some more research into it, try and expand and see what else you can learn about it, because that was a big theme in here too. But yeah, just the going about it in smaller doses until you begin to feel more comfortable with it will help you a lot, I feel like. So that is all the messages that I have for you today. I hope that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video, maybe consider subscribing or leaving a comment or something like that. And if you would like a personal reading with me, the information for that is in my description, channel description, all that good stuff. Look for it, it's there, and I hope to see you again in a future reading. So take care. Bye. Hi, group 2. If you chose this little piece of wood here, this little thing, then you're in the right place. Well, let me not put it like that. I have it before. I'm just gonna leave it like that. So we're gonna start with your energy check-in. Spirit, can you give me the current energy of my group 2 collective, please? Well, let's bring that closer. What else, Spirit? Just give me some more information. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. I saw solar plexus when I was shuffling, getting ready for this group. It did stand out to me. So, also right before I turned the camera back on again, I felt when I was sitting in the energy, after I invited my whole spirit team in and all that. I do all that stuff off camera because it would take too much time to do all that on camera, but I got from your energy this sense of like calmness and stability. So, excuse me, clearing my throat. But I do feel like that's where you are sort of sitting in that kind of calm, stable energy right now, especially with Firm Foundation coming out. It's a huge confirmation for me. But that's probably the gist of what you have going on right now, like the overall kind of energy. And then with solar plexus and fulfillment of wishes, it's like, I guess like this calm sort of sureness in preparation for what we have right here, this fulfillment of wishes card. This is the 9 of Cups kind of energy. And yeah, that's just speaking to something fruitful that is going to come in, maybe something that you're about to achieve, a goal that you're close to achieving. And you've done all the necessary preparation and stuff for that. And with the solar plexus at the heart of the spread here, I feel that is like speaking to a sort of newfound confidence and assuredness that you are having in yourself right now. Your solar plexus is quite active. Maybe it used to be out of balance or a bit blocked, but through past events and maybe what you've had to overcome to get into this like really stable energy where it's also very calm, like, so you might have had to clear a lot of things out in the past in preparation for whatever it is that you're getting close to achieving, or something that you're getting close to being in or embodying. Could be too. It doesn't have to be something physical necessarily with this fulfillment of wishes. It could be something on an internal level as well, or emotionally. But you're really shining and feeling more like yourself than you have before. So, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I'm getting. Pretty simple. You're in a pretty good spot right now. And if that did not resonate, you can try another group, or maybe you were just drawn to my energy, like my channel, and you can consider subscribing and sticking around for readings in the near future that you might resonate with. But we're about to get into our main question. And as always, the disclaimer that this is a general collective reading. Please use your intuition and your discernment And only take what resonates truly with you. Leave the rest behind for someone else, because it's someone else's message. So, Spirit, please tell me about my Group 2's hidden strengths. What can you tell me about that? I do want to take the Underworld. What else can you tell me, Spirit? It came out kind of in a line. Okay, we have the empty room, the shapeshifter, and the underworld. Let's see, I want to get a couple... Get a couple of tarot cards to go with this as well. I already shuffled these cards, but you already know I'm about to shuffle them again. One thing I'm going to do is shuffle my cards again. Spirit, can you tell me more about this energy, about my Group 2's hidden strengths, please? Oh, holy shit. That card damn near assaulted me. What is it? 9 of Swords. You cannot see those cards at the bottom. Why do I think you would be able to see them? Let's move this camera. Okay, look at that. Okay, the camera's good, we're good. So, I'm just going to take a moment and sort of attune to everything I have in front of me before we get all the way into it. Okay, so basically one of your hidden strengths is that you get a lot of your power and a lot of your wisdom through trials in the underworld, so to speak. So that means through doing shadow work, through certain, it could even go back to your childhood and certain adverse circumstances, I guess you could say, that you had to endure that really shaped you, that you had to learn some difficult lessons from, but that is your source of power, your source of strength. I'm getting heavy, like, energy of Pluto. Maybe you have a Pluto complex in your chart. So maybe Pluto is aspecting one of your personal planets, like your Sun, Moon, Venus, rising, or Mars. And what I'm getting to is that you have this with the shapeshifter. Yeah, that speaks to this ability to be able to adapt. So to adapt through certain, what's the word? It's a very easy word to remember. Why am I not remembering it? To adapt through certain, like, less than ideal circumstances, I guess, to change shape in a way that you can navigate them easier. You might be like the kind of person that everyone that you know would be like your number one to call, like in a time of crisis. Like you're that kind of person. And I'm seeing that card, that firm foundation card that I got in your energy check-in too. So yeah, definitely someone, the type of person that could be counted on in a crisis. You're definitely good in a crisis is what I'm picking up on too, as like extra confirmation. But another thing too with the whole adaptability message I'm getting is that through the certain trials and difficult circumstances that you maybe have like had to like been forced to go through by the universe, by like certain life circumstances, like how I talked about in childhood, you might have been forced to then. And I'm also picking up on Saturn too, so and with Saturn I'm picking up on like certain karmic influences. Maybe you've had a lot of more to do with like karmic contracts in your life, and having to deal with certain people, places, and things from that lower south node kind of vibration, and had to like fight your way through that as well. But with the shapeshifter, you have this ability to really like integrate and grow into, it's like a death and rebirth cycle. Like the Pluto that I was picking up on. Pluto talks about deaths and rebirths, and not in a physical sense, in like a metaphorical, metaphysical kind of sense, like the death of your old self into something completely new. Like you can completely remake yourself, so to speak, like Phoenix kind of energy, like something that would have destroyed the next person for maybe not forever, maybe for like a little good while, but for you can take that sort of circumstance, and when it's given to you, it makes you more powerful. With the empty room too, yeah, there's a lot about darkness and shadow here. So basically your hidden strength is shadow alchemy. And with the empty room, I'm seeing that like through, especially being clarified by the Seven of Pentacles, it's like in the most inopportune, like grim, fucked up, I guess you could say, kind of circumstances, and even those kind of circumstances where it seems like nothing could be made from that, you are able to get like the Ace of Cups out of it. You are able to find that sort of wisdom through it when other people might not have been able to, like they might have crumbled under that pressure. And this is something to where this is a special kind of spiritual strength, okay? And depending where you are on your journey, could mean that you're either very aware of this or not very aware of it at all, or you're somewhere in the middle with your awareness of this, I guess. But it is something I think that you have had a lot of experience with, whether you can see that or not. Like it's been a common present theme throughout your entire life. because there is a lot of higher purpose to that. You might identify with the wounded healer archetype, and shadow alchemy and stuff is really important to you. You don't have to identify with wounded healer, by the way. You could be mystic, you could be shaman, or something of that nature. But it is really important for you to go through these sort of trials in the underworld and really gain that wisdom and that complete remaking of self, of the old parts that through that are able to become something that can not just to withstand more, but something like, I don't know, I lost that train of thought, unfortunately. But I am seeing a lot, I am picking up really heavily on, like, the past. With this nine of swords, this is connected to this underworld card up here, but I'm getting with that although this is a strength of yours, it might be one of those things where it feels like a blessing and a curse. Like, you can look back and recognize that you were able to pull off some pretty impossible things and survive some pretty crazy stuff, and you're better off because of it, but it sometimes feels like something that you would like rather go without, which I can completely understand that as someone on like a spiritual path and on an ascension journey. Sometimes those trips to the underworld and dealing with those kind of things is a lot, and it's not something that most people probably spend as much time doing or are actually forced by the universe to go through those kind of death and rebirth cycles. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it is one of your greatest strengths, I feel like. Like with the Ace of Cups here, I don't know, this whole spread is like so beautiful to me. I can't stop staring at it. I don't know. Like, Spirit is really just urging me to tell you that although it can be extremely painful, what you gain from it is going to be some of the best, most valuable, most fulfilling things in your life. It's just that things like that, there is a price to them, right? It's just a law of the universe that about balance and about things to such a caliber just not coming for nothing. You have to earn it, basically. So yeah, that's an additional message, to just remember to not take that for granted, like the gifts of it for granted, not to focus on how bad it was, how painful it was, how difficult it was, whatever. And to also look at the bright side of what you got from having to deal with all that shadow. Remember to look at both sides, basically. Don't sort of zoom in and only focus on the worst parts of it. Okay. Once I finish shuffling all these damn cards, we're going to look at getting you some advice and guidance on how you can better harness these strengths. Did I shuffle these? I wish y'all could tell me, because I honestly don't remember. Okay. This is the Moonology Oracle. Spirit, can you tell me, can I have some advice and guidance for my group 2 on how they can harness this strength of theirs? New start is coming. New moon energy. What do you need to release? Waning moon. Can you tell me more about this, Spirit? Ooh. Ace of Cups again. That's crazy. Get 2 more cards, please, Spirit, for my group 2 collective. Oh my gosh. That's 3 cards. They really want to stay, though. Okay, so I'm just gonna put them like this. We have 6 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. Why is that? I'm pretend I do not see it. Okay. So to start with this new moon card. So a way for you to better harness these strengths is to recognize, I think, at that point, when you are going through certain tough cycles like death and rebirth cycles, or dealing with like karma clearing and stuff. When you are at that point where everything seems pretty dark, like maybe you're in a dark night of the soul even, Spirit is saying to remind yourself, you've seen this pattern, how it plays out every single time, and you know that this process is sort of a thing that is natural to you, that you have to go through, but there is, a lot of gifts and stuff that you get out of it in the next cycle after you clear all that stuff out. But when things look the darkest and you're really suffering in the thick of that, to remind yourself, you've seen it enough times, you know what it is. So the message is kind of like to have faith and to trust the process, and that is going to soothe a lot of that. It's going to make it be not as, I don't want to say traumatizing, but it's going to make it not as like low-key traumatizing as it sometimes is, when you can remind yourself that, and have faith and recognize that this is just the process of doing this kind of work, and having to go through these kinds of cycles, or deal with this type of energy, like heavy karmic energy, like maybe you are someone that has to clear out a lot of karma from past lives. I know I do. So I know how that feels. It's not fun. But when you're like in the midst of those moments, like maybe when it seems the darkest and you kind of like lose sight of everything else. If this has happened to you before, you know what I'm talking about. Like at that kind of moment, if you lose all faith and you lose all hope and you lose sight and you don't remind yourself of that, then yeah, there is an element of having to go through that kind of cycle being kind of traumatizing. And this is a strength of yours, and although you can recognize that the gifts and stuff that you get from it, the wisdom and the up leveling like spiritually and stuff, maybe part of that feeling why it can feel like a curse so much is because at those moments you forget to remind yourself to have the faith, or just, I mean, even on a logical level, like the pattern recognition of knowing that it's the exact same thing that has happened before and what happens like right after. If you sort of let that slip away from you, it can have a way of like damaging you more than it has to. Not to say that it'll ever be like a walk in the park and super easy, but you can ease some of that darkness by reminding yourself that. With this waning moon card, okay, the message that I'm getting is, with this, you probably do have a Pluto complex because I keep getting some more of that energy, but your powers for regeneration and being able to navigate this sort of darkness that most people cannot, and the depth of power, gifts, and wisdom that you get from this it does make you a very powerful person, and you have a lot of like vitality and strength and raw power to direct certain places. But with the Two of Swords and the waning moon card, it's telling me a lot about needing to sort of keep yourself cleansed and clear, and to keep your, like, how do I describe? To keep your vision clear, I suppose, and to not get, because you can easily mishandle that kind of energy. So yeah, a lot about making sure that you double check your desires, I guess, and make sure that they are truly aligned and attuned to what's aligned, what's purposeful, not something that's of a lower vibration that only serves to sort of like for ego purposes, something that just soothes the ego and is more karmic. Double checking that your surroundings, like people, places, things, jobs, all of that stuff, that it is truly in alignment with you, because that can sort of cloud, I guess, or like gunk up your ability to be able to see clearly, to use this vitality that's available to you, the power that's available to you, and it can leave you in this state of like confusion, disillusionment, and all that type of stuff. So yeah, you're very energetically sensitive to what's in your field. Look at what Saturn is doing in your chart too, because I keep getting a message about that. Look into Saturn in your birth chart, what it's aspecting to, and all that good stuff. With the Six of Cups being on the bottom of the deck, I'm getting a lot of messages about this. So it might be very, well, this might only be for a few of you what I'm picking up on. But I feel like someone is getting some type of communications and downloads and stuff from their ancestors. And maybe it could be that you're not listening to it. It could be that you're new to that and you're not really used to working with them and maybe receiving messages that way, like receiving downloads and stuff. Maybe that's something that's sort of newer to you. But definitely, if that resonates with you, to look into that, maybe look into doing ancestral work. Leave them some offerings, figure out who they are, leave them some offerings. It could be something as simple as you share your cup of coffee with them or a glass of water or something. But yeah, and talk to them if that message is for you. Now that's not for everybody. That's a specific one. But yeah, I think besides that, that's all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed the reading and that you got something out of it. If you like the video, maybe leave a comment or something. Maybe subscribe if you want to see more readings from me. And I do offer personal readings. You can find that information in the video description and the channel description. Everything's there. So hopefully, I hope to see you guys again soon in another one. And take care. Yeah, bye. Hi, Group 3. If you chose this interesting little vertebrae skeletal looking piece of wood right here, then you're in the right place. I'm going to start with your energy check-in. Spirit, can you please give me the current energy of my Group 3 collective so that they can know that this is their reading? Okay, these two cards flew out. We have material and spiritual prosperity, throat chakra. Can I have one more card, please, Spirit? Oh, shit. Oh, and the star. Sorry, I'm just putting my cards back real quick over on the side. You can't see it, but... Okay. So we have the throat chakra at the center of this reading. And that's very interesting, because when I was preparing for this reading after I closed out Group 2 and all that, I realized that in the previous two piles, I kept having to, well, in pile 1, I kept, like, it was hard for me to speak in pile 2. I had to, like, keep clearing my throat and stuff. And then when I sort of channeled into y'all's energy, group 3 collective, it felt like a lot lighter. So you could be having some throat chakra upgrades. I just made me want to drink some water, clear that energy out. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, you could be undergoing some throat chakra upgrades, really being able to express yourself, to speak clearly and honestly with integrity could be a big focus for you right now about the things that you say in some way. And I feel like with this material and spiritual prosperity card that we have over here, it you might not be fully in this kind of energy where you're fully seeing the fruits of your labors right now, but you're holding the vision with the star. You might be in this energy of having faith and feeling really hopeful about something that you have been working towards for, I feel like, a long time, like a while. What else do I see? Yeah, this first card is a lot about vision, like he's looking down that path. I feel like you've gotten into this energy of being able to trust the process, and you feel comfortable in that, like assured in that, in your faith, and you're just allowing yourself to be guided by this deeper intuitive knowing. And through that, a lot of truth is being able to be expressed through you, and you might be using that for you or others' benefit in some way. But there is a heavy emphasis on not just speaking, but expression as well. Okay, so if that's you, if you resonate with that, this will be your reading. If not, you can try another group to see if another group resonates, or maybe if you were drawn to this video but you don't have any groups here, then you're just drawn to my energy and my channel, and you can consider subscribing, sticking around for some future readings. Pretend you didn't see that, and that I know how to shuffle cards. I've had issues shuffling today. I'm usually really good at shuffling my cards, but okay, well, we're gonna get archetypes and tarot. So we're gonna get into our main question and see what your hidden strengths are, or maybe just one. What one of your hidden strengths are. It depends. It just depends. We'll see. Spirit, can you tell me about my group 3 collective's hidden strengths? Tell me about them. Okay, we have the mentor. Those cards flipped over, but they're not trying to come out. I just keep flipping cards over. Oh gosh, hold on. It's so chaotic. Okay. So we have the Mentor. We're gonna have to angle the camera down, I already know it. The Mountain and the Bardo. Tell me more about this, please, Spirit. Tell me more about my group 3's hidden strengths, please. Oh. Ace of Wands. No, you can't see that. That's good. Tell me more, please, Spirit. That little guy. Let's come out. Four of Swords. Oh, and Three of Pentacles. With Nine of Pentacles energy on the bottom of the deck. But I'm just going to put that off to the side. Okay. Just give me a second while I'm sort of attuning to everything that we have going on here before I start just talking. Okay, so with the Bardo is standing out to me first. I feel like you could be clairvoyant and be able to see certain things, maybe even in your dreams or in more liminal spaces, like before you fall asleep, or like right when you're waking up, where you're not fully conscious yet, sort of in that in-between liminal sort of space, that you can see certain things and you can intuit and get messages and downloads in those sorts of spaces, or maybe just even flashes of things in your waking reality too. It doesn't have to be in some sort of liminal. It could be at any time, just straight up clairvoyancy. With the Mentor in the Mountain too, I'm getting this sense of you are able to be a sort of way shower for people through what you go through. And I'm thinking of that throat chakra card too. Maybe you actually are some sort of mentor, or you talk to people a lot about something that you yourself have gone through and been able to overcome. And that is a strength of yours as well. But you're a good guide, especially when it comes to things that you have personally experienced and been able to surmount, or see certain things within it, and there's wisdom that you can share through speaking about it as well. I'm being drawn to like this fire right here in the Mentor card in the middle of the mountain, and then that goes down to the Ace of Wands, and Wands is the element of fire, which is interesting to me. I think it's speaking to this sort of spark, like this explosive kind of spark. You may be think what I'm picking up on is someone that can access like creativity or willpower to start something like a project, a business, some type of idea or something. But you're able to do that really quickly and take action on it really quickly. And when you operate in that way, it's really fruitful for you. So that's another hidden strength that I'm picking up on. And with that one, it might seem like a little unorthodox or even like risky when you do this, but that spark is something that's not, it's not something that's random. It's something that comes from, it's that Bardo energy too. It comes from divine. So you're actually safe in like maybe being a bit acting impulsively like that because it is divinely guided. With the Three of Pentacles too and the Mentor, I am seeing a lot about like your ability to work with others. So I feel like you can be a good teacher and you also have the ability to be taught. The mentor does also need a mentor, so sorry I keep messing with the cards. But yeah, that kind of ties into like how you can harness this mentor archetypal energy is by working with others and not only like imparting the wisdom that you have to share, usually about, you know, something that you have personally struggled with before, right? Oh, I lost my train of thought. But also being able to listen to and receive that from others. Okay, there we go. Yeah, there is strength in a lot to be learned and gained from you working closely with others when it comes to, oh my gosh, can y'all hear that rain? It just started pouring down so hard. Yeah, when it comes to this mentor archetype, I forgot what I was going to say again. What else is here? What else is here? The Four of Swords is tying in with this mentor energy. They're connected, and I think that's sort of the way for you to it's the way for you to temper this fire, all this like really fiery energy that we have here. For you to I feel like we've gotten Four of Swords for every single group. Haven't we? It's been different decks, so it's like hard for me to remember. But I feel like we've gotten Four of Swords a lot. I don't know. But with the Four of Swords, I'm getting that that's sort of your way to temper out this energy is to, well, it actually right now that I'm looking at it, it looks like he's praying. So I think that a lot of meditation and maybe your prayer life is really important for you in order to stay balanced and And to not get carried away by all of this fire and stuff that is kind of really easily, readily available at your fingertips that might make you want to maybe scatter your energy by going too many different places or doing too much, and it's like scattering your energy too much. To also remember to drop in, and because it's not, the things that you're doing aren't necessarily like bad or anything, and it's not necessarily something that you shouldn't be doing if you were to like really lean into this really action oriented kind of fiery energy to create, to do, to be involved, all that sort of over on this side of the spread. It's not wrong necessarily, but you do need to remember to ask for the guidance on the amount, like on when and how much would be most beneficial. You don't want to kind of burn yourself out, I suppose. Also, too, that is, the Four of Swords is also tying into the Bardo a little bit, too. Because I touched on the clairvoyancy thing a little bit, but it also, the Four of Swords is speaking to how you can what's the word? Interpret. How you can interpret and integrate the things that you see, how you can discern that they are actually a message, and then interpret what it really means and get the full effect, I guess, of the messages and the stuff that you receive through clairvoyancy. It could be other clairsenses too. It could be other clairs, but I am picking up on heavy visual. So clairvoyance. But you can look into the other clairsenses too, if you don't know what they are. Or if you do, then you know what I'm talking about, and whatever, yeah. So yeah, the Four of Swords is talking about a need to sometimes to take that side of you more seriously, and to take pause when you do notice it, so you can interpret and fully let the message sink in, I guess. Okay, so I'm gonna get into next some advice and guidance for how you can harness these strengths of yours. I feel like I'm gonna do something different than that I didn't do for the rest of the piles. Don't tell them that I did it. They might get jealous, okay? I just got sprayed with the cards when I was trying to shuffle them. That's crazy. Temperance is one of the ones that flew out. It's funny because I was talking a lot about a need to temper in your last spread. Anyways. Okay, wait, I'm actually going to put these guys up higher. I just want them there as a reminder, because I picked up a lot of strengths for this group, so I don't want to forget any while I'm channeling. Sometimes I don't have access to my rational mind and my memory and stuff, so it's good to have a reminder. Okay. Spirit, can you give me some guidance for how my group 3 can harness these strengths of theirs. What guidance do you have for them? The Sun. What else, Spirit? South Node. Well, we have the 6th house and the South Node. I feel like this wants to be turned around. Tell me more about this energy, Spirit, on how my group 3 can harness these strengths of theirs. Have the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, that's too far. Damn, what card flipped over? 2 of Wands in reverse. This one does want to come out. These are 2 cards. I'm not going to take that. Well, what was it? Temperance and the Ace of Swords. See, Temperance wanted to come out again. Okay, so these are the karma cards, and we have the Sun. I'm not using them like traditionally how you're supposed to, but I felt like using them this way because that's just what they told me to do. I don't know. The 6th house and the South Node. Well, I feel like I could move this down some so you could see a little better. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So, 6th house coming out over the Mentor. The 6th house is a lot about service and service to others. It can be seen as work, but it's definitely coming out as service to be paired with the Mentor. I feel like this ties in a lot to part of your purpose, or at least your calling or your path right now has a lot to do with service to others. It could be something that actually is your job, but it doesn't have to be. It is probably something that you're involved with a lot, though. But when it comes to... Well, let me see. We have the Sun and the Wheel of Fortune. Well, they don't want me to talk about that yet. They want me to talk about the middle of the spread still. So, with the 6th house, we have it being clarified by the 4 of Cups and the 6 of Pentacles. Now, this 4 of Cups is tying into the 4 of Swords energy that we had in the last spread that I was talking about sort of tempering your inner fire and your drive to do more all the time. With the Four of Cups, and because the Six of Pentacles is also about, it's about reciprocity and generosity as well. So, well, with the Four of Cups, I feel like maybe, oh, there's the message. You perhaps sometimes have this proclivity to deny yourself certain things in terms of emotions, like certain emotional luxuries. Like maybe you compromise on like your, I don't want to say your peace in general, because I don't feel like you're letting anyone like totally rob your peace or anything, but it's an emotional overextension, basically, is what I'm seeing. That could be something that you think is maybe rightful, but you don't see that you're actually denying yourself something that you are not supposed to deny yourself. And this energy is kind of tying into this South Node card too. Because that overextension might be something that you're here to be faced with, to grow past and overcome. To learn how to be of service and to freely offer the wisdom, insight, knowledge, whatever it is that you have to give without losing yourself to it, without, I don't want to say self-betraying, because you're not necessarily, I don't feel that it's to that extent. But there's a big focus on learning that lesson of the balance, how to balance that out. With the sun and the mountain too. What do we have on the other side? Yeah, I like that side more. Did I show this card to you? I don't know. This is what it says. With the Wheel of Fortune, the wheel's kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually going to get an extra card for the Wheel of Fortune. Spirit, why is the Wheel of Fortune here? Ace of Wands again. Oh, you can't see it, but it was the Ace of Wands again. Okay. The sun and the mountain. That's interesting, because it almost looks like the sun is in like the middle of this mountain card. Looks like fire, the sun, or something. There is a lot about creation here too with this fire energy. And what I'm getting with that wheel, I guess, is... Okay, well, that makes sense. So there's a need to temper this energy sometimes, but how you harness this strength of yours, well, that's another thing too. Well, I said that. Your ability to sort of act sort of impulsively off of like sudden sparks that you get of inspiration to do whatever, create whatever it is. How you can harness that is to temper it, but also to not be afraid to just do that. And to also accept it as a part of, as a core part of like your personality and who you are. And to celebrate it and see it as a good thing. Because like I said, people might frown on that, or even if they don't like show you that, they might have some things to say about it behind closed doors or whatever, talking shit. But if other people misunderstand it, then there could be the reaction of like wanting to change it or wanting to hide it. But Spirit is saying like you need to celebrate that, because it is a gift and it is a strength of yours. And there's not actually anything wrong with that, and those people are probably just hating on you, because if they tried to do what you did, it would not turn out good. The South Node and the Two of Wands in reverse. Yeah, with Two of Wands in reverse, that's just more of the message of what I was saying about, that was in the last spread, actually. But it's that same thread of energy of, kind of like spreading yourself too thin. Sometimes you do need to be more intentional and make more clear-cut decisions, I guess you could say, and focus your energy in more, instead of being like, there's a time and a place for you to pursue like everything that sparks your interest, and there's other times when you need to sort of retract, I guess, and focus it and have a little bit more tunnel vision on one specific thing, and that will help you grow too. But there's cycles of that, basically. And the way that you know what you're supposed to do is to get you some higher guidance and be guided on which way to go. And eventually you'll become more familiar with what a certain cycle feels like, and your natural rhythm and flow through those two different energies and phases that you need both of. And it'll become more natural. But if you're not used to operating in that way, to get the higher guidance on which way to go and how to operate so you can be on your highest timeline. Yeah, pretty sure that's all the messages that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the reading, if you like the reading, like the video. I've been talking for so long. I've become so awkward. I know you can definitely tell. But if you'd like to see more readings from me, please consider subscribing. And I do personal readings. If you would like one, the information is there in the video description and my channel description and all of that. So bye, group 3. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again in another one. Take care.